The Wassenberg Art Center is a not-for-profit community art center in Van Wert, Ohio that presents many admission-free exhibits annually. They offer classes, workshops, and activities for adults and children throughout the year. The Art Center is housed in a Victorian-era home gifted to the community by Charles F. Wassenberg in 1954. He and his wife Vera were avid art enthusiasts, and their combined love of art and architecture lives on and grows because of his generosity. Joining me is Hope Wallace, Executive Director of the Wassenberg Art Center, to tell us more about what is happening this spring and summer at the center. Welcome, Hope.
Thank you.
You know, until very recently, I was not even familiar with the Wassenberg Art Center, and so doing a little bit of research, I'm like, wow, this is really a jewel. You know, I gave a little teeny bit of history there, but can you expound on that and tell me about the beginning?
The Wassenberg Art Center actually began its got its start as a group of friends got together and that loved to paint. The Wassenbergs loved to travel along with their friends, the Millers, who lived down the street. Miller was a practicing artist, similar to the style of the Ashcan School, and it was a social group, and then it sort of blossomed into a club, and then upon his death it actually became an official art center.
Wow, so there was this interest with them, and they wanted to make sure that it was passed on to the community of Van Wert, which is a lovely little town. I've been there several times. So what are the building, you know, itself, what does it house? And I know you have some expansion going on too.
The current facility is the Wassenberg's home. He made his fortune raising peonies.
Wow.
And shipped them all over the world, all different kinds.
Wow.
And that is, you know, how he and his wife Vera, who had no children, made their fortune. And they would meet in this house, and then when it got to be too many of them, they met at the YMCA. Van Wert has both a YMCA and a YWCA, so it's a really interesting town.
So what goes on in this house now turned art center?
We house 8 to 10 exhibits a year. Some of them are professional artists, amateur artists. We pull people in from the region primarily because we have such great art in this region, and we try to represent that. We have programs for adults, children, artists, non-artists. It's more about the creative process, which is so inherent in human nature, that's what we're trying to celebrate more. You don't necessarily have to be an artist to have fun creating things. That
anybody is welcome. Now,
Absolutely.
is it located centrally in Van Wert? I know Van Wert's not real huge. It's easy to get around. But
Van Wert is the intersection of the historic Lincoln Highway, Route 30, and 127. Which, you know, has that major garage sale. It's a major route through the country. The current Wassenberg is on 127, and the place we are moving is closer to the downtown district, which is kind of undergoing revitalization. So we're excited to be moving closer to the action.
And what will this second location be?
The second location is an old armory, which was built in 1938. It housed the Ohio Guard for many years. It had stood vacant for several years and was slated for demolition for a discount store. And at the 11th hour, we were able to save the building and purchase it through the Van Wert County Foundation, who underwrites the Art Center.
Okay. And what will go on in this new building?
The same stuff, only lots more of it.
So will you ultimately, you know, keep the 2 locations then? You know?
We are going to be selling the house.
Okay.
In Mr. Wassenberg's will, there is that provision, should we need to do that in the future. So we will be selling the house. But we have a stage built in the new armory so we can house, you know, indie bands, just to have a lot more fun.
Yeah, to have some performing art along with it, that would be a very, very nice addition. So as the executive director, what do you do?
Well, I direct the Art Center towards its mission, which is providing creativity for the community. Also pick and choose the exhibits that we're having, manage a lot of the marketing, the graphic design. I have a background in graphic design and marketing, so I have to do that. And just see that we stay on track with our mission.
And plan all the arts programming
and the programming,
all of that.
Yes.
Because you have, you know, more than just exhibits. I want to talk a little bit about the exhibits too. But you have programs for children and summer programs?
Yes, we have summer studio camp this summer for all ages. It's going on in June, and we're going to be studying animals and how they relate to art and art history, and then we'll be making art to coincide with that. So we'll have 2 sessions of that this year. And we have classes, probably 10 classes a quarter for all different ages.
Okay, so
painting, drawing,
paint.
ceramics, even, you know, silk painting. One year we made silk painted umbrellas, just fun stuff.
Yeah, well, that's got to be a wonderful place for people in the community to just, you know, have that creative expression and have a place to come and do that. Now, tell me about what exhibits are coming on right now. You have the annual high school invitational?
Yes, only until May 4th.
Okay.
The high school invitational has only been going on for a couple years. As we've brought it back. We choose schools within a 35 mile radius of Van Wert that may not have the opportunity to compete and exhibit their artwork, and it's grown tremendously in the last year. We have a lot of really cool stuff, and it's just really interesting to see how young people, there's no parameters sometimes in their work, and it's really inspiring to see that.
Well, that's exciting for them too, to be able to see it actually in a gallery and not just hanging up in the hallway.
And we're able to give them cash awards,
Wow.
so you know, they might walk away with $100 or so.
Yeah, but that's very good validation of their artistic endeavors.
Absolutely.
So if a school wants to get involved, you said they do have to be within 30 miles.
Approximately.
Approximately.
They should just contact us if they're not on our list already.
Okay.
We did a study and
Right.
tried to find all the schools, but if we are missing them, we definitely would like to hear from them.
Okay, well, great. And right after that, you've got another exhibit coming up, the annual June art exhibit. Tell me about
Yes.
that. That's been going on a long time.
That's been going on actually before the Art Center was created.
Wow.
It's in its 57th year. It's a very strong regional art exhibit. We often have some national people exhibiting. It's amateur, professionals. There's quite a few cash awards with us. The show starts June 8th through the 30th, and artists, if they are interested in submitting their work, May 18th and 19th, they can submit their work
Still
physically.
have a little of time. Is there direction for that on your website?
Yes, they can download a prospectus, or they can just give us a call and we'll put one in the mail.
And what kind of art is exhibited at this? Is it all kinds?
Artwork, paintings, drawings, 3D. We limit it to that for this show because in October we have a strictly photography show.
Okay, so this one, if it's been going on for such a long time, I'm sure you've got a lot of people who come back year after year for that.
We do. We have a lot of regulars, and it's always great to see what they're working on currently. And then we always get new people, and that's always nice to see fresh
Are the
work.
exhibitors regional, or are they national?
Regional and national.
Okay, so there's no
primarily,
geographic limit for who can
absolutely
exhibit?
not. One year we had a gentleman from Virginia who was a mobility impaired and drew everything with his teeth, with his mouth, and his work is beautiful.
Now, the process, and I think this might be available on the website too, but those who do want to submit art, the instructions are there, but they're allowed up to 3 pieces to enter, and it is a juried show. So,
yes, it is.
So you said there are cash awards and that sort of thing. Now, you have an exhibit that'll be coming up when the Armory opens too. Tell me about that.
This is really exciting because this is going to become a permanent exhibit with the Armory. David Humphreys Miller, who was originally from Van Wert, was the son of Mr. Wassenberg's friend, Miller.
Okay.
Became fascinated with the Battle of Little Bighorn in high school, and this is in the 30s, so the textbooks were probably slanted toward, Caucasian writers.
Right.
And at the age of 16, his father bought him a car, gave him $100, and this young man set out west and began interviewing the survivors of the Battle of Little Bighorn. And ended up, as his father was an artist, he went to art school, he began painting these portraits of these survivors, and this photo here is showing him painting a gentleman named White Cowbull. Through his research and learning all these different languages and dialects, he's pretty much certain that this is the man that actually killed General George Custer.
Wow.
It's always been kind of a mystery because,
Yeah.
who wants to claim that
Right.
back in the day?
Right. But
So
just through interviewing him and
Yes,
spending
and
time painting him.
collaboration and double checking, some of the facts, it's pretty certain. He's written 2 books. He's starred in movies with John Wayne. So this exhibit's going to become a permanent exhibit for the Wassenberg Art
Well,
Center.
and that's more than just an art exhibit. I mean, that's a whole historical
It's
exhibit.
It's
to
the
learn
stories
things
go
that-
on and on. There'll be
Yes.
footage, and it was donated by Robert Brent Stevens, who is also a former Van Wert resident, and he's been collecting his work for a long, long time. And the works are they're valued up to close to $1 million.
How many pieces are in an exhibit like this?
Well, we have to rotate it.
I see. Yeah.
So a
It's
lot.
large.
Yes.
Yeah.
it's-
Now, you've got things that go on regularly all year long. You have, about how many exhibits do you have throughout a typical year?
About 8 to 12. With the Armory, we'll be able to have a little more because we can have more going on at the same time.
Right. You've got sometimes the photography exhibit and the different paintings and drawings and all kinds of different things, and the high school is the high school work always drawings and paintings, or are there different
it's
things?
3D. We accept digital, which we project in a slideshow.
And the educational program that you have, we talked a little bit about that, but these classes that you've got, they're open to people of all ages.
All ages.
Correct? And
All.
it's watercolor painting?
Watercolor painting. We have a very strong watercolor program at the Wassenberg. Our main instructor for watercolor is Pat Raymond. She is pretty well known in the area, and also is a published painter, and really does some nice work.
Well, it
just
sounds
a
like there's
wonderful
so
teacher.
much to see. I mean, and it's not very far to Van Wert from Ohio. It's a little
30,
less than an hour
35
from from Fort Wayne. Just a little drive, and it's not.
It actually was the stop off between Fort Wayne and Lima, so it was kind of the commuter town. So that's why all the wonderful architecture, the great courthouse, which has recently been renovated, and it's up and coming place.
That's great. Well, the art exhibit, you've got the high school one ends very shortly, but then the June art exhibit runs again when?
June 8th through the 30th.
Okay.
And we always have a great party. We have a band and all kinds of food, and we welcome you.
Well, thank you very much for being here today,
Well,
Hope.
thank you.
It's been very fun to learn about that. I'm Melinda Haines with the IPFW College of Visual and Performing Arts. Please join me next time on Arts Weekly when we'll learn about the Mikatadze Dance Company's next performance and also hear about the events and openings at Wunderkammer Company. For up-to-the-minute arts updates, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and be sure to join us here live Thursday evenings at 7:30 on PBS 39. Thank you for watching.
The preceding program on PBS 39 was made possible in part by
Excellence lives here in northeastern Indiana. It's reflected in more than 200 nationally recognized degrees. It drives our Division I sports. It's alive in our campus life. Excellence has a name, IPFW. Around our campus, around the country, around the world. Excellence lives here. Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. One university, two great names.